I'm not launching this with hype. There's no waitlist, no countdown, no growth thread. This is a quiet launch by design. Here is what actually works for today. Request a trial manually, approve it manually. You'll get the API key. Every request counts as one validation. That validation includes all enabled checks. There is no hidden complexity, and one call equals one decision. Manual onboarding is not a limitation, it works as a filter for low volume, high trust, and fast warning. I want to understand where this runs in real billing flows before scaling it. Automation for this early hides important information, but your onboarding will show everything. I will next demonstrate the onboarding flow. Let's get into it. Now the onboarding is simple and I will demonstrate the flow. So this is the request trial form. You just fill your company email. So just fill in company name, what fields you will be validating, and well, where you will run this in your system. So that could be like when filling invoice information. But of course, if you can add more detail, that would be helpful. And you just request a trial. Now, after that, I'll get a notification with the trial request. And I'll evaluate it, look at the input data, of course, and based on that, I'll either approve or reject it. And of course, before I approve it, I'll be honest. If it fits, I accept it. If it doesn't, I say no. But of course, I'll be giving feedback either way. So after approval, you get one API, and every request will count as one validation, and the validation includes all enabled checks. There is no hidden complexity. One call equals one decision. And this is just the example of a validated API key. And of course, after approved, it will be added as a tenant where we will be able to configure the validation settings according to your requirements and the notifications as well. Could be either a generic webhook or a Slack webhook or several emails. And that's it for the admin flow and the request trial flow. Okay, now I'll try to go over a little bit of the prompts and how I use them. This prompt you can see here is not the one I used, but it's very good to explain the mindset that I went with. So instead of doing like some people do and just start prompting for something, what I did was I created a prompt with every possible detail I could think of. So of course I gave it a role, I gave it a description of the system, the tech stack it would use, the structure of the project, the rules for those projects, and of course target framework and not negotiable rules. So things I would exclude, or minimal UI, for example, database rules as well. Everything you can think of was added here for for to be used as a rule. And of course, because I didn't use this one, what I used was something a little bit more complete. So I divided it into multiple steps, and I kind of implemented this system where I would say which step we were on, and to read the document, and it would, of course, read it, provide a plan, and I would let it execute. You can see here I executed step 6. It started implementing. Then I had to tell it to continue. Implemented all of that, and I did the same thing for step 7. And again, continue with the implementation plan, and so on. And then asked it to create the solution file, and it did. And after that, I wanted to show this. For example, it created the get health and get ready endpoints, which should be public, but you were asking for API key, and it fixed that, just removing the authentication there that wasn't needed. Of course, this prompt or documentation takes a lot of work, but it's also meant to give the context of the entire project to the agent. So the first one is exactly that. The second one is API related rules. The third one is models that are used in C# and database schema and stuff like that. Of course, one thing I also used was, in the beginning, I told it to read as well the AntiGravity rules, which would tell it the steps we would take and rules to follow, and extra steps to do along the way as well. Basically, I tried to implement good practices directly into the system as rules. So that's a little bit of an overview of how I used the prompts. So it wasn't just vibe coding, I let it go like with some luck. So no, there was actually some homework done before that, instead of just asking blindly for stuff. I hope this kind of showed you a different side of how you can code with agents as well. This is what I shipped, and if you're building something similar, this is your reminder. Less is more, and boring is often a sign of correctness. And I'll see you in the next video.